Hello and welcome to your self-portrait painting. My name is Eric, and today we're going to be taking a prime canvas that I took some of the paint from a leftover painting and just sort of went all the way over because I don't like a white canvas. And I've also added a sketch on top of that, just a light sketch, nothing too crazy, just as far as proportions, from a source material. From here, I'm going to be taking my palette and trying to mix some colors for skin tones and other things. You can take a look at my palette here for a second. We've got titanium white, yellow ochre, cad red, ultramarine, raw umber, and then a little bit of ivory black. Black and white gray tones out really nicely to reduce some of the chroma of the paint. The chroma is sort of the boldness of that red and that blue especially. So it'll make it more naturalistic rather than the really, really bold color that we're starting out with. So definitely use lots of white, lots of, you can use black if you have black. There's other ways of muting it with like a umber if you have that as well. It's another good way of muting chroma. But for this first pass, I'm going to be coming in and approaching this very similarly to my other paintings. I'm going to try to follow a couple basic rules. Back to front, big to small, thin to thick. And I'm not going to try and tackle a bunch of detail right off the bat. A lot of people have the urge of coming in and just painting the eyes because those seem to be the most prominent feature. I'm going to recommend you do not do that. Stay looser in the early stages, and you will thank yourself later as far as just having a successful painting all the way around. Okay, let's mix some colors and let's get painting. Okay, so my first pass on the painting is finished. Obviously, I have not gone into detail really anywhere, and overall, I've just been mixing colors from my palette and trying to get close to what I'm observing. I made a couple small changes, changed the shirt to black, changed the background to a blue. Here's my palette, you can see a lot of the mixture there. I did also add a little bit of cad yellow, which helped me with some of those lighter tones, but most of my skin tone personally sort of went towards a more pinkish tone. There are some yellows in the highlights, which I got up in here. Looking at it now, there are some proportions that are not perfect as well. Definitely think my forehead up here needs to be larger. And definitely some other things. Maybe my chin is a little bit broad. But as far as the first pass, not so bad. So in the next video, we will be tackling more specific detail. But just remember, when you're trying to paint, don't get intimidated by detail. Just try and get closer and closer progressively, and eventually you'll come to a happy place, rather than trying to tackle all that detail right away, which can be very intimidating and not work out so well. So what I did is I started with a prime canvas, I did a quick sketch, I painted over that sketch. Remember, there's many different ways that you can approach this assignment more realistically or more stylistically. This is my attempt at more of a realistic representation, trying to color match as accurately as I can within that first pass. Okay, so continue to push your paintings, get that first pass on your portraits so that the second time you come and paint and actually look for specific detail, it is much easier to make a more accurate painting.